So jump in, let me in. Okay. This sugya is very relevant to halakha. Because today, when we marry women, we marry them with kiddushin with ring. The ring is basically not money. It's shveh kesef. It's an object. You see, you have a couple of rings in your fingers, right? So if I want to sell you a ring, it's simply the weight or there's crafts on it. Both. So the crafts, the work on it is also worth something. How much is worth? How much percent of the value of the silver or the gold or the white gold or the red gold or whatever the yellow gold? How much it is the material and how much is the crafts? Most is the crafts. I don't know. Today you buy secondhand rings, there's only the weight. Right? The crafts is only value for the person who bought it. Just once. But after it's been used, it's just remelted. Do what people desire. There's a one-time deal desire. Unless it's a famous man, Ciucupini from Italy, who knows what, from Italy. So who knows what from
it's just sell by weight of the gold.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Right. Because it's only value to the person, unless it's very famous. Then it's worth more. But anyhow, okay. But definitely if you have stones on it, you have stones on the ring, so then stones is the whole world. And then I was never really introduced to the concept of stones just lately, a year ago, 2 years ago, that the world of stones is a very big world, which means there's a very giant difference between one stone and the other, and you need to be professional. If you're professional, the value of stones are way, way, way different than what you think when you see them. There's a company called GAI. It's a Swiss company that they basically give you the value of each stone. And each stone has a lot of characters to it. You want to make it value. You can have the same stone, looks the same in an untrained eye. And one can worth $30,000, one worth $3,000. No. I'm talking about real diamonds and precious stones and such. The whole world. There's a whole world. And what's important to us is this is what halakha. The halakha is you cannot marry women with rings which have stones on it. Only have to be simple rings.
That's the minimum.
Yes. That's the halakha. Follow the mina. And you cannot have any carved on it, any carved things on it. If you have carved on it, is it possible or not? That's a question we're going to see. Because the carving is not a really big difference. Yes. If he marries her with the ring of the stone, it's a problem in Allah. We'll see. Yes. That's why we marry with simple rings. The engagement we do with simple rings, and we talk about kiddushin. Yes, a simple ring, and then he gives her a ring with a stone, whatever he wants, a giant stone, small stone, different story. I don't say no, there's a problem. Why? Because sumo, we can see it, but you have to have an appraisal. Something like that. It's a lot of details and opinions you want to see in a few minutes. It's a lot of ways. So this is a very halachic sugya, less of a lomdus sugya, but it also has lomdus. Okay. So the more brings a story. How Gavra was this man? Okay, guys. Yeah, time is limited. The page 7b. There's not a Gemara, the Kiddushin. What is it? Look together here. You look together. English Gemara. Look together. What's in it? Okay. How Gavra was this man? Yes. How Gavra the Agdish Bashiro was this man? Whoa. The whole thing fell off. It was this man that did Kiddushin with Shiroi. Shiroi means silk. Silk doesn't matter. Yeah, yes. So plastics. Okay. was this man that did kiddushin with silk. Okay, silk. More brings Rabbe Omar Litzikashum. Rabbe says doesn't need an appraisal. The Rav Yosef Omar Tzikashum needs an appraisal. Rashi says, what does it mean needs an appraisal? Look at Rashi. Rashi says, Lo Tzikashum according to Rav Yosef. Rashi sheyashumu otam shamayim. Appraisals will appraise it. Koinem shetekale. Before she received them. Which means doesn't help an appraisal after receiving them. You need to have it before. Rabbi says you don't need. Rabbi says you need to have it before. If you had it afterwards, won't help. It's finished. That's according to Rashi. Shitas Rashi, it's Rashi and Rambam. Shitas Rashi, they need to have the appraisal before. Have it afterwards, it doesn't work. Let's open the Rambam. We have a Rambam here now page. Now our papers. We gave out papers. In page 4. Page 4. Rambam Milchos Ishus Perigzan Yudzayin. Omar lo, if a man tells a woman, Arei an mekudeshes li bebgodim einu. You are engaged to me with these clothes. Shen shovim chamishim dinarim, which they're worth 50 dinarim, which we didn't learn it yet. V'oyu shel meshi, they were silk. The kayoytz behem, similar things. Sha'isho mis'avalohem, a woman has desire for silk clothes, because silk is very soft, very shiny. They said the other day to the Spanish boys, about 2 weeks ago, came out over the news that they sold a silk horse with $5.5 million. Only 10 silk horses in the world. And right away, guys knew what is it. They showed me the picture on the internet that you see a white horse that his skin looks like silk. So you heard about it? It was all over the news. Even Israeli news. All the news that they sold one horse for $5.5 million. Only 10. It's one of a kind. There's only 10 horses like this. And it's very strange. It looks very strange. It looks shiny and soft, the skin. Almost like silk. A horse? We're not kosher. A horse is a horse.
Silk is made from spiders.
Okay, I don't know kosher or not. There is a mission in Avodah Zarah. Can you sell horse to goyim? Can you do business with horses? Right? It's like annoying. Let's do business with a horse. Why? Because a horse can be also klei. Horse can be a killer. Know how to give you a kick and kill you. Knows what? It's a question to consider klei not to sell the goyim or not. Machlokes. What? Okay. Im oyu shovi chamishim. Listen, this again. I brought this Rambam with this next 2 lines. Im oyu shovi chamishim. I said to a woman, here's a silk. I want to marry with 50 dinarim. And here's a silk that is worth 50 dinarim. And she took it, and it was worth 50. She's mekudeshes on the time of receiving it. You don't need an appraisal in the market before she receives it. I don't need to have first an appraisal and only afterwards you be engaged. In order to rely on it. Elo rather, oil since then since later on we found out it's worth the way he told her, it's worth 50. We found out later on. She's mekudeshes from the first hour that she received it. The first come here, Alex. Come here, Alexander. Can you move this a little bit more? Okay. Bezrat Hashem.
No.
Good. Come on in. Good. Very good. So comes the Rambam and he says that the halacha is you don't need to have an appraisal, and therefore she's engaged in the moment she received it. The email I'm shoving in but it's not that, but he told us 50. It's not worth 50, it's not good. But what do we see from here? We see from here that the only discussion in the Gemara you need an appraisal or not is only in order to be Mekudeshes the moment I gave it to her. But later, if I didn't appraisal it, and she received it, and only later on appraisal it, I appraisal it, and then she agreed to be married later on. It's not my diuk, it's the diuk of the Kesef Mishnah. Kesef Mishnah is the Bes Yosef, Yosef Tal. Okay? So let's go over again. We have Machois Rashi and Rambam. According to Rashi, it's very important for our opening understanding what's going on.
Right, here we're talking, there's two different views, Rabbi Yosef and...
Correct.
Rabbi
I'm talking about
Rabbi Yosef and Rambam talking about Rabbi.
Right, but we have a deal. But we learn a deal. So this deal is a case of Mishnah's deal, and I'm using this deal to have a discussion outside of the page. What exactly the Gemara means here? So let's go back here. What do we have? We have a case. A man gave a woman a piece of cloth made out of silk. And he told her, you're married to me. Sarabah says, you don't need an appraisal. And Rashi says, you need an appraisal. You know, the Gemara wants to know what's the case. We'll see in a second what's the case. What he told her, the koldu, it's worth 50, wasn't worth 50, that's what we'll see in a second. But the subject matter is what? Right now. Right now, when he gave her the silk, they need an appraisal before. That's what Rashi says. Rabbi says, I don't need an appraisal before. And Rabbi Yosef says, no, you must have an appraisal before you gave it to her. Otherwise, she's not Mekudesh. The Gemara says, what's the case? If he said, whatever it's worth, nobody argues they don't need an appraisal. But he said, but koldu, you know what the word koldu means? Whatever, all it is, whatever it is, whatever it is, whatever it's worth, I'm giving you an object, and whatever it's worth, koldu, all it is, whatever it is there, I'm marrying you. Nobody will agree, nobody will argue that you need an appraisal before. What happens with
the smaller bit? What happens with the smaller? What happens if it's small and maybe it's not worth seven pruta?
Okay, good question. What happens if it's not even worth a pruta? The answer is, yeah, we find out later on if it's worth a pruta. But if it's worth the pruta, she's married because she said, marry me whatever it's worth. Whatever it's worth, she agreed. What, Rashi? Yes, it's not for sure. Like, okay, now that's an answer. Good. If he said it's worth 50 and it's not worth it 50, it's not worth it. He pligi, what's the argument? He told her it's worth 50. The Shom Chamishim, it's worth 50. Rabbi says you don't need an appraisal. The Shom Chamishim, because in the end it's worth Chamishim. And Rav Yosef says, and this is what we need to understand here. This is opinion. Rav Yosef says you need an appraisal. Okay, even since hello, you can hear me? Hello. You need an appraisal. Why? Since a woman is not professional in an appraisal, she doesn't rely. It's too loud or it's okay?
Too quiet.
Too quiet?
Yeah.
No, but is it about the others? Okay. So now it's okay? It's a little bit stronger because I don't want to bother the Misfedish. Okay. So let's go here where we are. Okay. So really, we want to summarize what does it say and where's our direction to try and understand the Gemara. If somebody gave a woman a piece of cloth made out of silk, and he wants to marry her. Rabbi says you don't need an appraisal before. Rabbi says you need an appraisal before. That means if you need an appraisal, then go to Rabbi is no good, no conditions. Then what's the case? If he told them a koldu, whatever it's worth, nobody will argue that she needs an appraisal. Even that appraisal is okay. If he told us 50 and it wasn't worth it, 50, it wasn't worth it. But if he told it's 50, it's worth 50, Rabbi says it's worth 50, it's great. Rabbi says no. Since a woman is not common or no baki. I say baki is not common or not. She's not professional. She's not
knowledgeable.
Not knowledgeable. That's a better word. She's not knowledgeable in Schumann appraisals. So she doesn't rely. This is what the Gemara says. So we started with Machlokes Rambam and Rashi. Rashi says that the subject here is only, do you need an appraisal before? And if you need to appraisal before, wouldn't help you to appraisal after. Because I don't say that he gave the piece of cloth as a condition. I want to marry you worth 50. This is worth 50. Check it out. Check it out. Check it out. It's worth it. Worth it is you married. What's wrong? And then when she'll check it out retroactively, she'll be married. It's just finding out the reality. Just finding out the reality. Right? No. No. If that was a story, Rashi wouldn't say, you don't need appraisal before. It's Masha from Rashi, only Mashmo is not Tiuk Muchak. It's Masha from Rashi that later on it wouldn't help you to appraisal. They say, okay, later on I found out what it's worth. Then retroactively. No, it's Mashma that I said Chamishin was worth Chamishin, yet Rav Yosef said she doesn't rely. Means wouldn't help to check it later on. Say retroactively, no, it doesn't help somehow. Only if it's before, which means the moment he gave, we want to know that moment was a kiddushin. She relied on it. She agreed or not. According to Rabbi, she agreed. According to Rabbi, she didn't agree.
Why doesn't it help?
The Rambam says the Rambam says the whole subject here is just at what time she'll be married. Shori Shoina, or when you find out.
The Rambam is a Rambam.
I told you a diuk of the Kesef Mishnah. So I'm taking it as a fact. You want to go through the diuk? I want to go with the diuk. So I just said when I read, I said the diuk. Yes.
There's no reason not to.
No. Since the Rambam talks about Shori Shoino, not Shori Shoino, mashma that if I'm not talking about Shori Shoino, Shoach when you're praised, it will be according to everyone be good. So according to the Rambam, the whole sugya here is a very, very. It's only question on the moment. At the moment, when I give the piece of cloth of shiraim silk, that moment. And I said it's worth 50, and you didn't appraisal before, and only appraisal later on. So the halacha is like Rabba, that she's mekudesh and sholi shoino. Later on, you found out it's worth 50. She's mekudesh the time you gave it because you don't need an appraisal. But if you need an appraisal, sholi mekudesh sholi shoino, but who should be mekudeshes? Sholi shoino. Time you found out, and you can tell you agree, don't agree. Now that you know it's worth it, you're right. At a moment when I gave you, according to Rav Yosef, you're not so mechtas. But now that you know about it, you can say yes or no. And if you say yes, you don't give it back. Once the kiddush is finished. Second proposal, yes.
Maybe Rashi learned like that also. Where do you see the Rashi doesn't learn? Hold on.
I said the pashtus. That's why I said the pashtus. Since according to Rashi, the subject matter, tzricha shuma is you need shuma before or not. Mashma that after won't work. According to the Rambam, it's not if you need shuma before and after. Question is, if you didn't have shuma at that moment, it was worth or not. But you can have shuma later on, just will be working afterwards. You understand that, Mindy?
No,
simple.
You don't need shuma, therefore the kedushin works right away, but you have to evaluate it later.
Again?
Rabbi says that you don't need shuma,
before.
Therefore the kedushin works right away, but you have to evaluate it later, like the Rambam said.
Yeah, but if you mention the word, if Rashi stresses the point that since you didn't put it, you need shuma before you give it, and those who need shuma, and since you didn't do before it, I'm a kudeshes. Smashman, I'm a kudeshes beklal. Even if you show me later on, will work. That's the kudeshes. That in stipulates that if you need shuma, I'm a kudeshes right now. But later on, it says no, I'm a kudeshes. She didn't do it before. Smashman, what? It's those das as a condition to check it out. Das is all yes or no. That's very important. So we have two ways to look at this. According to Rashi, when he gave it is right now. Right now, when he gave it, if she's so mechonat. According to Rashi, according to Rabba, she realized that he doesn't know you don't need shuma. But Rabbi Yosef, if you need shuma, since you didn't do it, it's finished, it's gone. It's a big code, and you have to give it back. According to the Rambam, no, it's only a question when. Okay, you didn't do shuma before. Okay, so you have to wait till you do shuma, and only then she'll be married. Only then she has to agree to be married. But I don't say if I didn't do shuma before, I definitely gave you as a deposit. No, I gave you for marriage. And one before, okay, you're not afraid. So later on, check it out. So it's a very simple. According to the Rambam, it's a very simple. It's a technical. Yes.
Here was that he told the woman, marry me for 50 zuz, and here's something that's worth 50 zuz.
Right.
Did not tell her marry me for this at all. So this is supposed to be instead of 50 zuz.
Right.
The Rambam knows what the Rambam does not say.
What's the difference which way it is? Why does it matter?
Because if I tell you I'm marrying you,
You marry me in those clothes which are worth 50. That's the Rambam. You don't say I marry you with 50 and this clothes fulfill the 50. Okay, could be that would be the result of the concept. I said I'll marry you with this clothes worth 50. Okay, so you find a little. I said so now you don't find out. You marry them. Go to the Rambam. And if you say I want to marry you with 50, and he is still the worth 50, fulfills the 50. So if she didn't realize her reason, she threw it out. She says goodbye. I don't want it. So I don't rely on it. So therefore, if you didn't check it before, the story is finished. You need to make a whole new proposal if you want to do a new kiddush. Okay? So it could be a very good deal the way the Rambam represents it. That's why maybe that's what the Rambam is learning. Could be the Rambam, in the case of Rashi, could be the Rambam will agree. Shaila, okay. What's the problem? What'd you say?
The reason why Rashi would say later on doesn't work, of course it is.
Because he said 50. He said I'm Kodesh leave at 50, and here is clothing which is worth 50. So the clothing is fulfilling, which means she got married with a price, a price, a mechir, with a tag, a price tag. 50. And now the clothing fulfilled the 50. Yes.
What's wrong with it? So
Now what's wrong? What's the das? He gave us why Rashi doesn't say that he gave her something, and if she checks it later on, now she doesn't know, okay, now she's vulnerable. She's not happy to get married because she doesn't know yet. But when she will know, then she'll be married. Why Rashi is refraining himself from the pshat of the Rambam? So he gave her a good svara. It says, because when I tell you a price tag, say married with 50, so she's, in her mind, she has 50. She wants to marry 50. He gave her something she doesn't know was worth 50. So okay, there's a svara to say that she's pushed it off. Finished. That story is finished. She's not holding on anymore. Then later on, he finds it's worth 50. It's okay, but it's better. No, but he wants to say like this. When I say I want to marry with these clothes, this shiraim, which worth 50, yeah. So then the 50 is a condition to the action. So then he can find out later on. It's an external thing. But if it's I marry 50, that's not good. That's what I'm marrying you with. And in the svara, I can hear what you say. It's not mukhaf, but it's a good svara to say. And when I say I want to marry with 50, it's a price tag. And then I give you clothes with roses, and it's not. So finish. The story is finished.
It's not. It is.
I don't know.
Can we
Right now, you did an appraisal before. So therefore, I push it off. So I don't want it anymore.
Rabbi Yitzchak,
Yes.
can it be, we can say Mekartaus?
Moshe.
But we have these.
1 second, quiet. I hear the voice of Moshe.
Yeah,
Moshe,
it's
is you?
Mekartaus? Yeah.
First of all, how do you feel?
Baruch Hashem, better.
I'm happy to hear your voice. Baruch, no, I'll be a first name. Go ahead. What's your question? I don't hear what he's saying.
Can we say it's a Mekartaus? If I tell you it's a Mekartaus?
Moshe,
Is it a Mekartaus?
Mekartos, kind of. Yes, she throws it out. Doesn't want. Not Mekartos, kind of. It's idea. He says she doesn't want it.
Kaddish with a coin. He said,
I'm with a choy. The Kaddish with Chamishim, and he said, this is what Chamishim.
according to Rashi.
Yes.
Kaddish with a coin. He says, here's the 50 zuz.
No, not with a choy.
What does he
The
mean?
Kaddish with Chamishim, and he says,
Why
this
does
is
that mean
fulfilling.
zuz? Coin.
This will
He said,
fulfill.
I'm paying you the coin.
I'm paying you my words. I'm paying you up. He didn't come in. He's saying those clothes. Not a debt. It's Mekadosh with fulfilling is what he promised to marry her. Say I'm married with 50s becomes a debt. Makes a debt. It's a promise. A lot of shvur. It's a statement. So I'm married with 50, and this called the word 50, which means in the mind is and once she doesn't know it word 50, the deal is off. That's the point. According to Rashi, the deal is off. According to Rav Yosef, you need appraisal before, and there's no summa before, the deal is off. And don't say, okay, later on, find out. Just find out. Find out it's worth 50. Because we found that it was worth 50. Why it doesn't work when she finds out? It's a kasha on Rashi. The answer is, deal off. 15, she doesn't know. He promised her 50, and he didn't give her 50 sous and coins. He gave her silk, so she doesn't know what's with. It's finished. The deal is off.
He has to take charge even more now, 100 zuz, and he has the right to pay it off whenever he wants. And as long as he gives her one now, he can pay it off whenever he wants.
Because in that case, he started saying.
Right. It's a payment. It's one of oil. Yes. Right. Okay.
He said it's not this.
Okay.
He said she doesn't know that. He said she can't figure it out.
What?
He said we should know, so why can't she figure it out?
It's a question of das. It's a question of trust and das. I don't know. She heard 50, gave her something that's unclear. Done deal. Finished. Close. The Rambam, he gave her something that says it's worth. I'll check it. If you don't need shumas right now, show the shina. If you need shumas, you check it. And when you check it, you remarry. No, it's finished. It's a new mice. You don't need, you need a new proposal. Sorry, I like this word. No proposal. Yes, go ahead. Yes. Right, of course. So according to Rav Yosef, it's done deal. It's out. It's out. She thought, yes, exactly. Okay. Let's see. Our time is limited, guys. Shh. I'm going to read the Rashi. Let's see Rashi. Bechol dehu. Rashi. So the Gemara wants to know what's the case. Is the case talking about kol dehu? So nobody will argue that you don't need an appraisal. And Rashi says it's in the first page. Rashi is in the Diaspora Yeshiva papers. The first page we have Rashi. Or the Rashi, or you have Rashi and your Gemara inside. Rashi says bechol dehu. Iskatshi li bohen kemoishen. It's very important what Rashi says. Rashi says something big. Rashi says, where's bechol shehu? Marry me. Iskatshi li bohen in them. Kemoishen, like they are. He's not saying I'm marrying with a pruta, and this for sure has a pruta in it. He's not saying that. He says, marry me with them, whatever they are. Whatever it's worth. What? You don't need an appraisal. For sure is not worth less. If you have a suffix, if it's worth a pruto, so maybe that's called the one help. If it's whatever it's worth, and there's a suffix, maybe it's worth less than pruto, same problem. That's what Taisa says here in the Het Amud Aleph on top of the page. Look in the Het Amud Aleph. Het Amud Aleph, Ashve Kiss of the Kites. This goes according to the second economic, but I want to get the case. The case is, Odam Rila Kamona, Ugavre the Kodesh Bezavda Urde. In Tafid Beis, there was a story, somebody married a woman with a bundle of Muchin. Muchin means what? Rags. A bundle of rags. Yossi Rav Shimi Bar Chiya v'Kameayin Yiz b'Shavavut Oloi. He wanted to, he started to had a doubt if it's worth a pruta or not. If it's worth a pruta, it's okay. It's not worth a pruta, it's not okay. You don't need an appraisal. You don't need an appraisal. He had a doubt if it's worth pruta or not. So now let's go back to Rav Yosef in this case. Somebody gave a woman, he says, I'll marry you with this bundle of rags, or whatever it's worth. But you have a suffix, it's worth a pruta or not. According to Rav Kodesh, do we say, according to Rav Yosef, since it's not clear if it's worth a pruta or not, you will admit here. When he will admit, when he says, marry me with this, whatever it's worth, these the words worth, marry me with them, with this, like they are. If I have a doubt it's worth a pruta or not, should be the same svara of Yosef. He wants to throw it out, but she doesn't know if it's worth a pruta or not until, I don't know, why? It's a svara like that. But, like Rashi says, because for sure now, in the case of our case, in our Gemara, by the cloth of silk, when he said Bekoldu, the Gemara says everybody will agree that she's Mekudeshes. Why? Because for sure it's not less than a pruta. If it wasn't for sure, was a doubt, maybe Rabbi Yosef will argue. Yes. Repeat. No. I'm talking about the case, we said Koldu. He said Bekoldu. He says whatever it's worth. Marry whatever it's worth. Yes. So the Gemara says whatever it's worth, agrees on the appraisal, like Rashi says, because for sure not less. But it will be a doubtful if it's worth a pruta or less. Everybody will agree. I say maybe the Rabbi Yosef will argue because the same idea. She says no deal. I don't know if it's worth a pruta or not. No deal. Why? So not it. It's expectation of it's already a pruta, but in a pruta, how much is it? 1,000 prutos, 500 prutos. So Rabbi Yosef says, done deal. Right? Doesn't mean my expectation, or I have a doubt my expectation. I don't want it. You want me to say yes? And yes means now it's my shot. So once she says it, she's locked in. It's her, and when it's her shot, she's the queen. She's the king of the queen now. So then what? She says, listen, I have doubts. Goodbye. She throws it out. But when it's a question if it's worth a put or not, it's a question if it's it or nothing, she can find out later on if it's worth it or not put. It's okay. Even Rabbi Yosef will agree. That's a svara. And even maybe Rabbi Yosef will agree. Okay, it's good. I like your svara. That says not for sure. Even Toysa says, it looks like it looks like Rabbi Yosef. Not for sure. There's a svara to say that even Rabbi Yosef will admit here, in the case where it's out, because the only question is in the subject, not an expectation. I like this chiluk. I think that's Pshat and Toysis. It's what you want to say, maybe? Yes.
Something that's not the difference between money and merchandise is that money is defined the value.
Right. Right.
Merchandise is good if it's like money that the value is defined.
Right.
Therefore, if the value is not defined, even though I know for sure it's more than it's not going to work.
Right. But when the question is a put or not, Yosef says it's not necessarily against Rabbi Yosef. Why? Because like his svara, it's only question is in or out. If it's not a question of expectation of worth. This question is bechlal momon or not. He gave me something, you didn't give me anything. Not expectation. So therefore, even Rabbi Yosef could admit that she doesn't throw the deal out. Even if it's a doubtful, it's only question yes or no. We'll find out later on if it's in or not. But when I have a doubt and expectation, so Rabbi Yosef is out. Doesn't matter. But because he's saying he's saying the same svara on both economics. The of kotsuv, it's only in a doubt of expectations. I like beautiful definition. But when it's not a doubt of expectation, it's a question of doubt if it's put or money or not money. is worth or not worth, being the minimum amount of mamon of kiddushin. Right. And the second, we didn't read it yet. Let's read the second Ikadamri. Ikadamri bechol duhu nami pliga poli Rabbi Yosef. Nami pliga. Even by Koldus, also there Rabbi Yosef says it's no good. Why? Rabbi Yosef Omar, Shvekesef the kites, Shvekesef the kites means Shvekesef has to be, when you talk about money, it's cut. You know the price. $10, $5. When you give movable things, objects, has to be cut value, has to have a cut price. So that's why even when I say b'toldu, it's not a cut price. Not a question of pruta, not a pruta. That's what they says. Looks like Rabbi Yosef, it's really like Rabbi Yosef, because it's a question of pruta, not a pruta. Rabbi Yosef will admit it's not a doubt. It's not cut in my expectation value. It's not cut if it's money or not money. If it's more money in pruta or not. Therefore, even Rabbi Yosef will admit that could be, if it's a put or not, that something will not throw it out of the business. No, Toysa says, he says, yes.
Clear out the word.
I'm trying to get my, I'm taking off the garage and I kiss and I frame in the wall.
Taisa says this is the parable.
What is Lechoiro Doime? Apparently looks like a dimion. Apparently is similar to Rabbi Yosef.
That's good. I
Seems to.
That's good.
But apparently, the word apparently it seems it's a very weak word. Because it's small or not so. Like he said, it's not a question of expectation. It's a question of if it's money or not. So it doesn't say she's going to leave. One second. You know what, Rabbi, I'll tell you, I'll answer you. According to the first Ikadamri, it was a question of Das. So definitely, farmers like Rabbi Yosef. According to the second pshat, that Gezeras HaKosu needs to be a cut price when you talk about movable things and not money. It has to be a cut price. Gezeras HaKosu, there, if it's a question if it's money or not, because Gezeras HaKosu, no matter what, is out. It's not a question of Das. As he said in Das, doubt and expectation I throw out. Doubt is money and I don't throw out. Representative my Das, the question is Gezeras HaKosu has to be cut. When it's not cut, it's put or not, if it's part of the gas or not. Even it's not a religion. We can say no, it's not part of the Gezeras HaKosu. There's not a question because there's only a question in expectation. It has to be cut in order to meet my expectation. When it's not cut in if it's money or not, Rabbi Yosef is it maybe not the Gezeras HaKosu. So there's a different svara. Only that says there's not Nifel looks like Rabbi Yosef. According to the first Ikadamri, only like Rabbi Yosef. Why? Because it's only a question, not a question of an expectation. It's a doubt if it's money or not. Chali gave her something or not. So let her find out. If she gave her something, he gave her something, it's okay. Yes. Very good. You're saying good chilukim. Very good chilukim. We're going to talk about right now. That's the second statement. When I read the sugya, the first thing, yes, what do you want to say, Rabbi?
It looks like he has a case, similar case.
Yes.
Here,
yes. Shtachov or yes. You have to have it before. You have to have a place before.
According to this chat in the Gemara,
this goes on the first Ikadamri. This goes on the first. The first license goes. Yes. Yes.
The second shot.
Yes.
Of the comma. You have to value the four.
Yes.
So he's saying that even on that quality of less than people, you have to. It wouldn't work according to this.
No, you have to we have to value it before.
He says the same thing.
The question is if he valued after.
You have to value it.
Sure, the Gemara doesn't say when. It has to tell you when. But in Daf Yud Beis, that the Gemara tax says clearly that he valid after.
But this is according to Rabbi Yosef. This place is also according to Rabbi Yosef.
I understand, but there's no lie from this toises. This toises is the first toises. He's talking about, in theory, how do you explain the
No,
Gemara?
I'm talking about right.
This is a Maisa show you.
No, the right is what this text means.
I'm answering you. There's no lie from this toises to this toises. Because here talking about what's the proper way. Here was a Maisa that they checked it afterwards. The question is, why? Is the Rabbi Shmuel admitted that or not? She said, we can say so, yes.
The law is you have to check it out.
There in the story in the few days, they checked it after. That was a story.
The law is you checked it.
Here.
No, the case is talking about that they checked it.
Right. But what happened checked after is Rabbi Yosef is out of that answer. So the koyla, not vada. This is not vada, it's possible. If so, the koyla, if possible. Okay. I want to now ask a question which we zoom out and thinking in our own mind. Okay? Without knowing Rishonim nothing, which means a person should ask himself. This is really when we want to start thinking. Let's think, Bezadas. Somebody gives a woman an object, gives her utilities, whatever, he's giving her something, and he tells her, Aran Mekudesh Li, Bezeh, Amishim Zuz, whatever the language he said. So, wait a second. I have to see what kind of woman she is. She wants to keep it for herself, or she wants to sell it. It's a major difference. If she wants to sell it, so then she cares about the value. He said 50. If the market value is not 50, says out. But if she's not a woman that sells things, or it's something desirable type of things that every woman wants to grab for herself, it's not for sale. It's not made for sale. Like silk, you could say silk is something that a woman desires for herself. It's not for sale. People do sell, but normally, if you have a lot, you sell. Normally, the Gemara says, "Kelo shel balabait." A bait doesn't sell enough. You have to buy balabais, right? And shvis. There's a lot of halachas. There's kelo shel balabais. It's not made for sale. It's for himself, his own usage, private usage. So lichoy will be a difference. If she wants private usage, so you just find out later on if what he said is true or not. But it doesn't change. She wants to marry because she wants the object. The worth is only a side thing, condition to fill up what he said, and later on you can find later on, which means later on I'll find out that what he said is true, so it's true. I mean, the whole concept, you need appraisal. If it's a type of a woman that she wants it for herself, not for sale, shouldn't apply here. Oh no, once he said a price means market means option to sell. So then you have to have appraisal or not. Then the discussion comes in. Which means, do we care type of object, type of woman, it's part of the equation or not? That's a question. Okay, this is the question on the table. This is when I read the Gemara, that's a wonder to me. Do we care about what type of object is it that is unmade for sale, or what type of woman she is, or woman with object? Combination. It's a part of our equations or not. Okay?
The reason a woman likes to wear the shloy, because they're wearing something expensive. Because depending each other, it's not going to be a real good.
Yeah, I don't know. Could be, or she wants to save it or to sell it. I don't know. I don't know. I would say like this. Let's say opposite. Let's start from opposite. If Rav Yosef says that guys, this is really what I'm trying to get you guys to think. If Rav Yosef says a word, what's the word of Rav Yosef? What's the words of Rav Yosef? you must have an appraisal before. Why? Because a woman is not professional in appraising. She doesn't rely. Simply to me, it means that she wants to know the market value. And she has a dream, maybe the market value that you saying that's worth is not it. Means our main focus is the price tag you gave, the market value, if it meets the market value. You want to marry with 50, giving me the decision, filling the product, the price you said, I want to know if it's worth or not. Because in my mind, it's not the object, it's the price tag. Otherwise, if it's the object and the price tag is just what he said, so I'll find out if he lied or not later on. And later on, if I found it's worth 50, maybe I'll be married then, not now, but I'll be married then at least. Did he say I'm out? Question is, what did he give me? He didn't give me what I want or doubts out. I throw it out. So, is it part of our equation? What? Was time change? No, so we always find out at that moment. You can ask an appraisal that yesterday how much was worth. There's market values up and down, and by the way, there's not such a big movement of market. Right.
So when he says this is not 50, money else worth 50, so in her mind, he's talking worth 50. Yeah, I'm married. But if she doesn't know, then she doesn't really know what to place on it.
I like this one very much. That was the answer I gave by the Israeli Yeshiva. I said to myself, I'm thinking to myself, but the fact he gave a price tag, he already talked about, he shoved in market value. He didn't say, here, marry me with this piece of cloth. Wow, I want it. I'll agree. Here, want to marry with this? Not talking about price at all. Just an object. It's marrying with this object, right? So without saying marrying with this, whatever it's worth. I'm not talking about worth altogether. Though with this, want to marry me with this. I'm not talking about worth. When you put in the word worth 50, whatever it's worth, at least a pruta. So you're talking about worth, you're talking about market value. You already shoved in market value, so let's go. Market value, obviously says, go and have an appraisal. But if a person will marry a woman, that's why I said, Rashi said, it was called to marrying with them, whatever it's worth. He didn't say a fourth possibility. This man married Aran Kodeshly, the Shirai Melu. You marry me with this cloth. You talk about worth, how much it's worth. You talk about worth, Bechla. Who's talking about worth? Is out. But I'm not talking about now expectation and worth altogether. Which means you can say that when Rav Yosef kicks into the picture, you hear this, what's your name? Zach, an hour. When Rav Yosef kicks into the picture that you never have appraisal before, if not, according to Rashi is totally out, according to the Rambam later on, when it goes into that world of appraisal, it's only when I talked about market value. I said 50. Whatever it's worth, I talk about worth. That means market value. When I'm not talking about worth, she's thinking about what she wants for herself. Do you want her or not? It means I want it. It's okay with me. She's not talking about market value. Talking about herself, her one thing or not one thing. Okay, obviously, if she wants some relationship with Buddha, there's no value. You have to have the minimum. Bizoyon, with a chazal, it's a different world. It's not pruta. I'm not talking about the expectation of worth. So according to this, the whole sugya here kicks in. When the Gemara says what he said, the koldu means worth koldu, at least I put the word koldu, whatever, marry them with them, whatever it's worth, it's talking about worth. Or he's saying 50 is not worth 50, 50 is worth 50, it's all in the world of worth, of market. So then you have to come in and jump into appraisal. But when I'm not talking about price, and praise, and the market value, I'm talking about marry with this, no, this, whatever it's worth. With this, he says yes. Finish. Finito la comedia. We know Machlekes Rashi, there's Rab and Rabbi Yosef. Everybody will agree it's okay. As long as we're the fruit. Right? Lichoira, I would say. What do you want? Yes, want to say, Aaron? No, she's not. There's no does not money. It's finished. But there's a puto, then yes.
So what's the difference between the new case and the case of kosher? Who was the same?
When I say Kemoishen, marry me with this, Ben Kemoishen, like they are. What is Kemoishen? Kemoishen Shavim? Marry me with them the way they are, value, or the way they are? What is the way they are? Simply the way they are means the way they value. Talk about value. What's Kemoishen? Kemoishen Shavim or Kemoishen like they are? Like they are what? The shape, the form, the color. What am I marrying the way they are? All right, talk about worth. So he's shoved in the world of worth. Capiche? Simple. Okay, all I'm talking to you is not my words. It's Rishonim, we'll see later on. This we have to think ourselves before we see the Rishonim. What?
He's saying the kosher is worse than if he said nothing.
Yes.
He made things worse.
There's a smart to say he made things work because he shoved into the woman's mind market value. I'm marrying you with 50 market value of money, value, prices. Okay? Yeah, it's much better Rashi like this, yes.
Rashi.
Okay.
No. But you could say.
Look at the next Rashi. Ido Malo, I'm reading 4 lines at the end of the page in Rashi. Ido Malo, if he told this, Kachli b'chamishim zuz, if he told her, marry me with chamishim zuz. And what happened? Very clear, Rashi. What Rashi says, I marry you with 50. And this shiraim, this silk, it's the value of the 50. Will fulfill the 50. He's not marrying her with shiraim, and he tells her, by the way, it's worth 50. If that's the case, like he said, very good, the Rambam learns like that. Look in the Rambam, look in the language of the Rambam. Rambam says, on page 4, I'm marrying with these clothes, which are worth 50 dinarim. He's not saying I'm marrying with 50 and this worth 50. Fulfills the worth of the 50. She's married with definitely a price tag, market value. Saying no, according to Rambam, he's marrying her with this clothes, which worth 50. And they're very desirable clothes. The silk, she says, you should be Savalayim. So if later on the word 50 should be married from the beginning, according to Rambam. But Rabbi Yosef, no, but later on, definitely, even according to Rabbi Yosef, that she needed praise and it was no good, but later on, the case of Yishmael Medai, but later on, even according to Rabbi Yosef, will be married at least then, because she married with this object, and with 50, this object. Okay, so he told her a side thing, you find later on, it's worth 50. According to Rabbi Yosef, you must check it before, in order to be married now. You didn't check it before, okay, you should check it later on, and be married then. But it is not all because he married with this clothing. But according to Rashi saying not so. Rashi says our case is what? He's married with 50. And he's giving her a piece of cloth of silk. He's saying this be the value of the 50 which I want to marry. That's what he said choiv. It's not choiv, it's not because it words. It's words. Not the choiv. With mechiyuv. You mechayiv yourself to marry with 50. You fulfill the silk will be the value of Tmeim, the value of the 50 of the 50, which I said. The Shovu Chamishi. Rashi says, however, was the professionals didn't appraise her before. Therefore, question the moment is, done deal, she throws it out because he said 50. I don't know if it's worth 50, so it's out of the picture. Throw it out, according to Rabbi Yosef. The Rabbi, it's in. But there's no second chance according to Rashi. The question is, each one talk about a different case. There's a machlokes here or not. The case of Mishnah says there is a machlokes. But according to Diuk of Reb Shleimer, when he told me, very good Diuk, which I like. There's no machlokes. She's talking about different case. Okay. So now we're ready for the Gemara Daftet. In page Daftet.
What exactly would be the other case?
What?
What exactly is the other case? What did he say exactly? The other case.
The other case, according to Rambam, he said, Arad Mekudeshes li bepkodim eilu, ve'en shavim 50 zuz. It's different. It's a side thing. A man with this cloth, this piece of cloth, and it's worth 50. And she wants this Or says silk. So a man minus the silk. This, she sees silk. She doesn't know about price. Could be for herself even, not even selling. Yes, that's why it's not a done. It's not, you don't throw out the deal. Even if you have Yosef, you can check it later on. Not now, but later on. That's like the Kodesh right now. But everybody agreed that if later on you find as Kabishi, she could be married, even if Rabbi Yosef. It's to be a second approach and on the same action. Yes, because they didn't appraisal before. Okay, we have to print out the Kiss of Mishnah. We'll see it inside. Maybe they print it out in the papers here. The Kiss of Mishnah, you print it out?
You have to say this case. You have to say that.
See, they only quoted Lechem Mishnah. Okay. We should see it inside itself. Okay. Now we have to see a little bit more, and we finish with this as enough as a beginning. People should learn the main thing which we want to focus here on Rabbeinu Tam. Okay? So we'll see in a second. And all the Pirushim in Rabbeinu Tam. There's Rash, Boran, Rosh has a question of Rabbeinu Tam. The two Zachoinim on it explain Rabbeinu Tam. But that's a lochel ma'is. Rabbeinu Tam is the one that says when you get married, all of you, but at the right time, cannot marry with rings, which have stones. Okay, this is the Rabbeinu Tam. So let's see the inside. Naftes. The Gemara says in the papers, which page is it? Page 2. So Gemara Naftes. In the middle of the page, there's 2 dots. You go 4 lines above. The halacha is there's a whole 4 cases in the Gemara that the Gemara wants to know what's the halacha. For example, a man was drinking beer, and a woman says, "Can you give me some of the beer to drink?" She had audacity, huh? Say crazy. He says, "Okay, if I'll give you a cup of beer and marry me." Says, yeah, just give. Have me, give me. Or Ashkeyan, let me drink. What's the machlokes if she meant she agreed to the kiddushin or not? So witnesses, they give the Zaham Kodeshasli. Okay. So a whole series of questions in the Gemara. The Gemara says, Allah, in each case, what's the law? One of the cases is our Gemara. So it says, Ilchasa Einam Kodeshes. The law is that silk clothing don't need an appraisal. Whatever, different case. So wait a second. So the Gemara concludes, what's the halakha? The halakha is that it doesn't need an appraisal. That's halakha. When I give a woman a piece of silk, doesn't need any appraisal before. That's the halakha. Yes. There's a lot of weird things in this Gemara. Number one is why the Gemara didn't say, like all the rest of the cases, the halacha like Rava, like Rav Nachman, like say the name. The halacha is like Rabba. You don't tzich shuma. It should have said, why did he say the halacha is like shiroi that you don't need shuma? The result of the case and not the name of the rabbi that said it. And another problem is the rule is all of a shas when you have Rab and Rab Yosef, the halacha is like Rabba. So the Gemara should use the halacha is like Rabba, or you don't even have to say it's a normal general rule. Those are the questions Toyses are in this Gemara, and because of this, they come to a very important conclusion. They come to a conclusion that now all objects are the same. When I say silk doesn't need shuma, doesn't need an appraisal, because it's a type of thing like silk and everything like silk that doesn't need appraisal. But for example, stones, we'll see some stone, diamonds are there. It's a different type. People make big mistakes. We'll see the second. Therefore, you need an appraisal. So because of this chiluki and making taxes when we need an appraisal, since the Gemara chooses the language, silk doesn't need an appraisal. Why the Gemara brought the word silk and not saying a general rule? Tell you only silk and similar things like silk. When it's not silk, similar things, it needs an appraisal. So we turn the whole story over. Instead of saying the halakha is I don't need an appraisal, depends. Sometimes I need an appraisal, sometimes I don't. This makes our lives very hard. Because when I marry over the ring, which ring needs an appraisal, which one doesn't? Which ring is similar to silk? Which ring is not similar to silk? Okay? This is where the halakha comes in because of this Rabbeinu Tam. So let's see the disciples. Right. Right. So as a market value. But stone, there's no market value. There's every stone, so many different parameters that make a big difference in price. So there's no stone similar. Even there's a statement, I think. There's never ever stone in some day creation. Two stones are alike. Always what? Lab, yes. The lab was worth it's like silk. Yeah. It's shiny like silk, but it's not. Okay. Let's see Toysmas. V'ilches says shiroi lo tzurich shum. V'im toima, we're going to ask. We have 8 more minutes when we finish. V'im toima. Amai tzich lifsui keraba legabe Rav Yosef. The Robas, why do you mean the pastor like Rab against Rav Yosef? The Robas paskir l'chesed keraba bar misod inu mechitza. In Mobasra, we say everywhere, we say the halacha is like Rabba besides 3 other things, which means anywhere else, halacha is like Rabba. And since Rabba is of the opinion that Shiroi, silk, doesn't need an appraisal, so why the Gemara have to paskin altogether, Shiroi don't need an appraisal? That's Rabba. Obviously, the general rule of all of us Shas, the halacha is like Rabba, they don't need an appraisal. What's the chiddush of the Gemara? The Gemara doesn't have to teach me that. It's a general rule. The Yesh Meforshim, some people explain that dafkin in the Bobas, only in Bobas alone like Rab. It is not Mila Bobas. This is the Kiddushin. It's a different place, different subject. And that's what we have to pass. That's what we have to say. You don't need Shuma because Rab is not a factor here when it's not Bobas. It's not part of the subject of the tractate Bobas. One of the names of the tractates is Kiddushin. There's many tractates. One of the names is Bobas. Only in that tract and that subjects, that looks like God. It's not clear. I'll prove you that all of a Shas, Rabbi against Rav Yosef is like Rabbi. Why? Because this guy told his sharecropper, the whole world, they take they give me three thirds, and they take a quarter. And you changing the normal sharecropper. I had a normal, how much you get? A quarter, third, half, depends on the custom. So this guy was telling this guy, the whole world takes 3/3, gives me 3/3, and you take a quarter. 3 quarters, and then you take a quarter. The Gemara says there, the words like this. You think that Rabbi follows Rav Shimon Gamliel? That looks like Rabbi. They have a problem. If you put in line Rabbi and Gamliel, have a problem. The halach is everywhere like Rabbi. And here, if it's in line with Rabbi Gamliel, that looks like Gamliel. From those words of the Gemara Mashma, you can infer. The Gemara says it's known to us. That looks like Rabbi. Mashma the Bekula Gemara is a Kavase. Mashma all in Masachet Giti, money everywhere, not only in Babasra. The halach is like Rabba. It's a general rule. The Shema is Litchois, maybe you can push it off. The Osom Yesvor in the Gansa Bahot Kaimel is a Rabba. There's some people say the Girs and the Gemara, the format, the words of the Gemara there, and this the halach is like Rabba, only there. The Mashma Bahot Dafka, only that Mashma. Let me pull it in my own Gemara. Okay. Last question on me, however, kosher. If the Rabba, why the Gemara talks about the case Shiroi silk doesn't need appraisal? Why didn't it mention the name Rabba? Why talk about the case silk? Not Sikhashuma should have said silk. That looks like Rabba. And I mean, I look Rabba like the next piece of Gemara. I look Rabba, I look Rabba Nachman. We only mention names. We're not mentioning what they hold. Why here we change? He said, Allah like Rova, but I'm not man. Allah it's Shirai needs Shuma. Suddenly not talking about names, talking about subject and predicate without talking about names. Why we change? This Kasha knocked out Toys is saying that it's only that group, only Shirai. Only that's what the point of the Gemara. Only Shiraim and similar group like Shiraim. Shiraim means silk. It's similar like silk. Only then you don't need a praise. So why? The this comes to teach us. The Davka Shiroi would like specifically silk doesn't need an appraisal. Because the appraisal is known a little bit. What does it mean known a little bit? What is known? Everybody knows. It's even a woman knows. Even a woman knows. Then regilim lito is boy kolkach. Saying two things. It's known a little bit, and you're not accustomed to make such big mistakes. To mistake it so much. Kolkach. There's no so much mistake in it. In China, the silk.
My money.
It was a world that silk was the money.
Like gold. Europe, it's like gold. And the actual money
right? Everything is valued by silk. We have today valued by silver. They value everything by silk. In countries, you value everything by oil, gold. Here, there's China was silk. So no big mistake, right? Aval, Sh'ar, Dvarim, but other things. Kegon Avanim Tobot Magaliot, good stones, and Magaliot is precious stones. Sheyeh, Sheinam Tobot, there are those which are not good. Elamat, only little. Veregilim, Lito Ispe'ar, B'Yoshishon. It's custom to make a mistake much more than the whole value of it. More than the value. You need an appraisal. Wow. It just comes out a whole new revolution, a revolution. That you would think the final end of the Gemara that you don't need an appraisal. She can marry a woman with anything you want, don't need an appraisal. No. Only a group which is similar to silk. To Shira, you don't need Shuma. Because it defines things which are known a little bit to people, their appraisal. The appraisal is known a little bit. Number two, the mistake is not a big mistake. But when it's not known and the mistake is a really big mistake, that's extreme. There's two factors. The appraisal is known a little bit, and the mistake is not a big mistake. But when the appraisal is not known and it's a big mistake, she doesn't rely. What happened if it's only one? Big mistake, but it's known. Not known. One causes the other. This has two factors. Not known and big mistake. If it's known and big mistake, or not known but not big mistakes, we don't know. This concludes, we finish with this. Therefore, the world, the custom is, and you hear this, Zechariah, the custom is to marry a woman with a ring with no stone on it. Why? Because then you need appraisal before. You don't know, she throws the deal. Not like the Rama, okay, later on find out. She throws the deal. You know, today, I want to finish with this. Today, even without stone, sometimes you have white gold or silver. You have copper or gold, different color of gold. Hey, you know what? So you need to tell her if it's white gold or silver. Always, when I'm a rabbi, I always ask, what is it? Is it silver or white gold? We'll see soon. Bezat Hashem, we'll learn the Rosh, and then he's showing in more details, more deep here. I always ask, because if she thinks it's white gold and it's silver, it's a big difference. If she thinks it's gold and it's copper, big difference, right? It's like stones. Same way you cannot marry with a stone, there's a big difference. Also, white, gold, and silver is a big difference. You have to know what she's marrying with.
So that you can't use silver.
Maybe we'll see. Let's talk about it. So I want you to make an iyun here. There's a Rosh here, Rashbo, Ram, Bes Yosef here. Rosh has a big kasha on this, Rabbeinu Tam. Says, like, really, I want you to look inside. And I want you people should prepare this. Look inside in the papers that I gave you. In page 4, there's a Rosh here. He says, however, it's in black, strong black words. Not clear to me, it's not clear to me this reason. I don't understand why the world takes away the stone. So I don't understand the problem of Rabbeinu Tam. He says, I don't understand why not. Though I'm reading Bekoldu, we said, if he said Bekoldu, whatever it's worth, I'm marrying with this. Whatever it's worth, there's no machlokes, right? Nobody puts an appraisal. You don't give her, I'm marrying you, this is how much I bought her for, and I got the Kodesh. You don't, it's a shame. That's how much you bought the kid. You don't talk about how much it's worth. You don't give an appraisal. But it means koldu, whatever it's worth.
Don't say no.
So once again, say what the Rosh says. I don't understand the problem. You're right. You made 2 categories. Shiraim, it's one category that what? That it's not a big mistake. It's known and not big. It's not known a little bit. The appraisal is known a little bit. The price, the appraisal known a little bit, and not big mistake. But things which are not known and big mistake, no good. But if I say koldu, even though it's big mistake and no, but I said koldu, it's a problem. Let the stone stay there. I said whatever it's worth in the putas, I'm marrying with it, whatever it's worth. Nah, come on, it's definitely worth a puta. Question is worth $1,000, $2,000, definitely worth a puta. So why Rabbeinu Tam in the world said off the market, nobody marries with stones? Why not? It's a koldu. This is a kasha, and what I taught you today, and I planted it in your mind, should really have your own answers on your own. Then I want you guys to give the answers yourself. Okay? Kasha of the Rosh. Try to figure that out.